Hello, everyone. Who I have with me today is someone very well versed with the examination, having gotten a rank twice, first as an IRS and now a great rank of All India rank 37. She clearly has a method to this madness. So, welcome, Shobhika. So happy to have you on this talk.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful that you invited me here because I have benefited greatly under your mentorship. So I think I am very thankful that I get to reciprocate in whatever way possible, whatever was the guidance that I received. And if others can benefit from the same, it would mean a lot to me. And I know it would mean a lot to you as well. So
Thank
thank
you
you very
so
much.
much. It truly does mean a lot to us, and I think this is going to be a pretty insightful session, given that you were already in service. And how did you get the drive to sit for the exam again, and of course come out with such a great rank this time?
The motivation was always there because a very cliched answer would be that when we started out to prepare for this exam, the intention was to be an IAS officer one day. So, in general, I don't believe in giving up. And because I had attempts left, and because I had a very conducive and a very supportive ecosystem at home in terms of my parents and mentors like yourself. So, everyone would just tell me that, why not? So I just also went with that feeling, and God has been kind. So this time things worked out.
Great. And could you please tell us which attempt this was in terms of the
This was
final
my
attempts
last
that you saw?
attempt. Yeah. This was my final attempt because I got in IRIS IT in my third attempt. And then just after the results were declared, I gave my fourth attempt and unfortunately couldn't clear prelims. So with half-heartedly, I attended the first FC. And then after the foundation course, I gave the other attempt in 2022, wherein I couldn't clear mains. So then I finished my IRSIT training, and during training, we are not supposed to attempt the exam at all. So
Right.
that took up about the whole of 2023. And then in 2024, when I joined field as an IRS officer, I gave my last and final attempt. So yeah, that's about it.
So it is in the final attempt that the stars decided to align.
Yeah, one can say that it took me quite some time to get really a good understanding of how these things happen.
Right. Coming back to the strategy part of, you've given multiple attempts and you know how the pattern to mains has been evolving every year consistently. Like, say, if you had 110 in ethics in your previous year, scoring that much with the same strategy becomes difficult the next year because people get on evolving with the subject every year. The
Yeah.
answer writing methodologies evolve every year. So, you've gotten a great 129 in ethics this year. What
Mm.
do you think, and how do you think have the trends evolved in ethics, and how did you manage to get around them?
Okay, so if I can give a timeline, so to say, the first time I cleared in 2020 exam, so that time, even though I had a rank, a decent rank, my score in GS4, especially talking about ethics, was just about 90. So
Right.
then in my 2022 attempt, although I couldn't clear mains as a whole, but the marks considerably improved to about 108, which is not very good, but it is still decent. It is
Right.
a three-digit figure. This time around, at the very outset, I would like to thank you because I remember speaking to you about 1 week before the actual mains, and some last-minute tips that you gave me really helped. The most important of them being the way to approach the exam. So, in my previous two mains, I used to have a very conventional approach, as in, I would finish all the case studies first and then have just about 1 hour or at the max 70 to 80 minutes to finish section A. And we all know that, everyone can write a decent case study. So the catch really is in writing above average section A answers. So you were the one who had told me that, Shobhika, finish first three case studies and then quickly jump to section A, finish all of section A, and then come back to the remaining three case studies.
Right.
So I think this is what I did essentially different this time. And I owe my whatever the jump, the increase in marks to this alone because just out, like we just came out of the examination hall after GS4 paper, and half the people were really in tears because they couldn't finish it.
Finish,
So
yes.
even though I was also struggling, like the last case study, I was struggling, but at least I had that, mentally, I was relieved that I have attempted section A also decently.
Right.
So I think this is how I would analyze the change in the marks. But as far as the change in answer writing pattern is concerned, that also, I think initially I had no guidance. So I was preparing ethics on my own. But this time, when I was speaking to you and you had seen, I think, two of my full length tests for ethics, you had corrected also.
Right.
So you had really told me that, Shobika, you need to have dimensions for every answers and have like a pre-decided framework. You can either adopt a impact on like a concentric circle model, like impact on self, impact on community and society at large, or you can do a past, present, future kind of a framework. So this is what I also adopted in the actual exam. So none of my answers looked very repetitive. The examples were also very different. Like no two answers had the same example of Gandhi ji or Ambedkar ji. So, speaking to you and the kind of notes that, or the examples that you had shared, I had a good bank of examples and content and framework in place. So that helped me in terms of approaching the answer writing per se.
Right. Okay, so one thing in ethics is preparation of relevant content. Like you said, the importance of having examples or newer kind of examples, different ways of approaching the answer. But what is the role of mentorship in terms of sort of giving you a feedback on where you stand currently and what do you need to do differently in the coming tests? What is the role that mentorship played that way, like in terms of personalized feedback that on the basis of copies that you were writing?
Okay, I think it really made all the difference because, like I said, I did not have any mentor per se in the first road because, like all candidates, I also think used to think that GS4 is really a test of how honest I am, and I would like to keep it simple, and it's just like write whatever comes to my mind and look at the previous year questions, probably check out the synopsis on Google, and that's about it. But when I had a mentor like yourself this time, you really read each and every answer and you gave me very critical feedback, which was not, and even though it was just 10 days before the exam, it was not some, you did not sugarcoat it in the sense that you did not say that, oh, Shubhika, you're going to do really well, because that's the kind of feedback that we get when we just attempt any test series. And just before the exams, they really want to keep our, momentum going and they don't
Yeah.
want us to feel bad. So they give a positive feedback, which is right. But a mentor will give you critical feedback and will tell you that, you have not hit the nail, like you have not understood the question. So a lot of times, especially for section A, you had told me that, Shobhika, I don't think you understood the question. The question was not, the keyword was not that what you were focusing on. You have just written a conventional definition and you've written some examples. So a mentor will tell you कि question एक बार पढ़िए, फिर दूसरी बार भी पढ़िए, and really write what is asked. Don't just write
Right.
what you know. So this is one very important feedback which I got from you, and then you shared some sample answers with me. So in this, in that sense, a mentor will make our job easier because they have been analyzing trends all these years. So they have a strategy in place. Even what I spoke earlier about attempting the paper. So in that sense, I could be writing 100 answers and then thinking that on the actual day of the exam in GS4 I will do well. But unless I'm open to feedback and unless I'm getting feedback from a credible source who has actually seen 100 copies and has probably corrected copies of previous year's toppers also, and then you would know what has worked for them. So that would help me or help any candidate seeking mentorship. So I think it was really the only thing that was missing probably in my ethics strategy was having a good mentor. And this attempt, I was fortunate that I had one.
Um, Thank you so much, first of all. But I think equal credit goes to you for wanting to improve upon those areas. And even in the last 10 days, I think you were very keen in taking those feedbacks. And of course, we mentor a lot of students, but to have somebody like you yourself who's wanting to, even in the last 10 days, push
Mm.
through, even after having a service already, I think it is on you that you wanted to sit through those feedbacks and work on them. So that is definitely on your all yours. Secondly, coming to code-based questions in part A section,
Mhm.
that is
Yeah.
something that sort of troubles the students a lot.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was your strategy in attempting code-based questions and differentiating there?
Okay, so this I very clearly remember in our phone conversation. You were like, you said that Shobika, quote-based questions तो आपने बिल्कुल ही समझा नहीं है. Like you have not understood them at all. And I had, like I said, I would just write what I know. I have not even tried to understand in what context the question was asked and what does it mean to me. Because the overlying question is, what do these statements mean to you? And then there is a quotation. So
Yes.
we sometimes just write about the quotation. We don't even write what it means to us. So the conversation with you really helped me understand that we have to write an application of that quotation. So you had asked me to divide each of the quotation-based answers, like write 5 dimensions and then have an example for each dimension.
Right.
And then you said that the examples have to be different. Like one example can be from a business field. You can quote maybe some CEO. Then one example can be of a civil servant. Another example could be your own example. So that is how essentially it would talk about what it means to me and what it means in the present context.
Right.
तो ये मुझे बहुत clearly याद है because you had really I remember our whole conversation like Shobika, I am sharing 3 to 4 code-based answers with you and you please go through them and then you will understand how it is supposed to be approached. So I think that's how I went even in the final exam with that
Great.
strategy.
Great. And coming to case studies, I mean,
Yeah.
of course, you rectified that mistake of attempting case studies first. But other than that, also, we're supposed to do some ornamental, superficial changes even in the case study so as to not appear, so as to for them to not appear monotonous
Yeah. Yeah.
in our copy. So, what was your way of attempting the case study section and to get marks there?
Okay, so I had realized that everyone is writing. There is no right answer to a case study. First of all, everyone,
Great.
whoever is a potential, who is an aspiring civil servant, knows that you have to adopt a middle path, and you cannot be extreme about it. And you have to give the pros and cons of any approach that you are suggesting, and give long term, short term. That is a well known strategy. Everyone is aware of that. So the changes that I made this time was, even though stakeholders are not asked per se in any question, we have to introduce the stakeholders because then the examiner at least knows that we have understood from what all perspectives we are supposed to analyze the given case study. So whenever we introduce the stakeholders, we generally make a cloud or we make a dabba and we just introduce
Right.
them like with arrows. This time around, I thought if someone were to look at my case studies, they should try to find something different and something creative. So, in that sense, and if a case study was dealing with, let's say, women issues, which generally is every year, they ask one case study dealing with sexual harassment issues at workplace, or one case study would be dealing with some environmental issue. So,
Right.
I used to draw the stakeholders along with a diagram. Like, if it is an environmental issue, I would just draw a tree and like a simple tree and with like leaves on that जो हम बचपन में बनाते थे and उसमें मैं arrows लगाती थी. And if it
Wow.
is a women centric case study, then I would just like make a rough caricature of a woman. And if it is a woman, like generally these are case studies where a woman has been oppressed, so the smiley would be a very unhappy smiley of the outline would be of a woman and with a unhappy face, and then arrows banake I would introduce the stakeholders. So this is what I did. It might have looked sort of silly to whoever was checking, but I remember you had given me good feedback and you had said, yeah, this looks slightly different. And in fact, I went with that strategy also in the actual exam. And I don't know if it worked or not, but this is
Of
what
course,
I
it has
tried.
worked, which is why the marks it has somehow created. I think case studies is all about creating a difference in
Yeah,
terms of how you're attempting those only because the way that everyone's been attempting it is very redundant sort of. So
yeah.
every little differentiating factor that you sort of do there, I think it counts. What was your way around the course of action that you used to write? What was your what were you trying to do in the course of action?
So course of action was also short term, long term. So you can either write a subheading of short term steps and then long term steps, or I mean, I had analyzed the previous year's toppers, and one of them had a very good arrow wale tarike se wo likhte the. Like the first would be this, and the second arrow would be this. So एक flow chart type ban jata tha ki my first step would be this, second would be this. So that also is a very aesthetically appealing way of approaching. Whoever is checking would find it neater. तो हमेशा या the solution would always have a long term perspective and a short term perspective. And I also tried to incorporate a philosophical dimension because that shows some integration of section A with case studies.
Right.
So any solution that I would be giving, तो उसमें मैं या तो कोई बुद्धिज्म का कोई एक फिलोसफी लेके आ जाती थी, या फिर जॉन रॉल्स थ्योरी, और ऐसे कुछ ना कुछ कोट कर लेती थी, which would show that yeah, I also know that this has some application from the philosophies that we learn about in section A.
Right.
So yeah.
Coming to, like I said, you truly have a method to the madness after clearing the exam twice and securing a rank twice. What do you want to say to those appearing for and preparing for 2026? How should they be utilizing their time right now so as to finally be able to fare well in this exam later?
For people appearing in 2026, now would be a good time because we're sitting in August end, so September. So this is a good time to work on, your GS part, because
Right.
right now, if you focus on mains, and even if they start appearing, they start focusing completely on prelims from March onwards, they have good about 4 to 5 months entirely for mains. So this is the time, if I were appearing, let's say in 2026, then I would be focusing on consolidating my notes of all the GS subjects and the optional as well. So specifically, if I can talk about ethics, I would not make the mistake of thinking that ethics to ho hi jayega, prelims ke baad bhi ho jayega, prelims mains ke beech mein, because the syllabus is vast. And we sometimes think कि ethics तो आपकी personality का test है, but नहीं. Each of the keywords in the mentioned in the syllabus, you should have a definition in place along with examples, and try to have as many examples as possible, because over the years everyone has been writing the same examples. मतलब स्वच्छता में everyone has been quoting Gandhi ji. So if you can, really come up with something different, and that will only happen if you'll give this subject enough time. So
Right.
I'm not saying give it 1 month, but I'm saying always be aware that you could be using any examples of your day-to-day life also in your essay or ethics. So I remember I used to always be on the lookout for examples. So while I was preparing for mains, there was this one time I wanted to order something late at night, and because मुझे भूख लग रही थी, and it was raining in Delhi. And the delivery guy came despite the rains. He came and he delivered something at around 12:30 in the night, and I just said thank you and smiled, and he smiled back. So this was sort of a good example that I wanted to use even in my exam, and I did use
Right.
it in ethics. So one has to just be very aware कि हाँ मैं ये भी use कर सकता हूँ from exam point of view.
Right.
And these are the things that will make your answers different. अगर आप जितना personalized उसको बनाएंगे, उतना ज्यादा your paper will stand out. And that does not mean that आपको ethics ही ethics पढ़ते जाना है, but एक बार syllabus पढ़ लेंगे, so you will know what are the areas that you need to focus on.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, now is the time to sort of wholeheartedly prepare for mains until December and January, uh,
Yes, yes.
and then they can switch.
Alongside preparing your notes and integrating everything at one place, one can also start writing the previous year questions ki answers, because
Right.
that would give you a feel of if whatever you have been preparing, are you using that in your actual exam?
Right.
So if one can enroll for test series, then well and good. You can simulate your main settings even before you appear for prelims. तो वो एक आपको actual feel आ ही जाएगा. But if there is a resource crunch or if there is a time crunch and you cannot afford to full-fledgedly enroll for a test series, then in that case, at least look at the previous year questions and try to answer them. That would
Right.
help you understand where you stand in the preparation for that subject.
Right.
Yeah.
Lastly, Shobhika, do you have did you have a certain quote or certain mantra that you sort of stuck by that has stuck with you through these years in your preparation for UPSC and something that you want to share with the listeners? That would be very great. Yeah.
No quote or mantra as such, but I mean, this may sound really silly, and I haven't really spoken about it anywhere else. But in front of my study table, I used to have a stick me note which said RYL. So RY, and anyone who used to, ask me, including my parents, they used to be like, "What is RYL? What is RYL?" So RYL was basically if someone has seen, if I don't know if your listeners or if you have seen Game of Thrones. So if have you seen Game of
I
Thrones?
have not seen, but I am sure there are a lot of Game of Thrones
Oh,
fans out there, so they'll get the
so,
context.
so there is a character in Game of Thrones. Her name is Arya Stark, and
Okay.
she had a list of people she wanted to kill. So I don't
Okay.
have a list of people I wanted to kill, but RYL was basically remember your list. So I had a list of people who doubted me and who questioned my ability. So every time I used to feel exhausted and tired and just done with it. I used to look at that and I used to remember my list. And that list was not very long, but that kind of used to motivate me. Okay, they doubted me. I need to really work hard and prove them wrong. So these are just the small ways one can keep themselves motivated. Otherwise, you watch some video online and you look at some topper talk, including this video. Whoever is
Right.
watching, that kind of motivation is very short-lived. But
Definitely.
if you have something from inside that keeps you going, I think that would really sustain the momentum. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay, so this brings us to the end of our session. I think this has been a
yeah.
very enriching one. And
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for connecting with us. We hope to see you do great things on the journey ahead.
Thank you so much. Very grateful for having this opportunity to connect with you and finally convey my gratitude and my sincere regards to you for helping me out and really making a difference because even 5-6 marks make a lot of difference. So I've had a considerable jump in ethics and all thanks to you. I really owe that to you. So thank you very
Thank you
much,
so much.
and
It's
I
been a
wish
pleasure.
all the best to you in terms of helping anyone like me who is really looking for guidance. And I'm sure you're going to be an incredible source of guidance for all your students.
Thank you so much, Shobhika. This means a lot.